It has been a very long weekend here at the state capitol, and a $16 billion budget was just passed tonight by both the House and the Senate. Everything wrapped up in the House a little bit before 9, and the Senate just got it done about 15 minutes ago. And this marks the end of the 2024 session for the state legislature. It's a nearly $1.5 billion budget shortfall that forced state lawmakers to make some tough decisions about what programs and projects to kill or postpone. 16 bills passed as part of the budget package aimed at reducing spending by more than $1 billion. While there were no cuts to public safety, the plan includes cuts and delays to road construction projects. Also on the chopping block, millions that went to Arizona's 3 major universities, the Department of Economic Security, and the Department of Juvenile Corrections. Funding will also be transferred from the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, the State Parks Revenue Fund, and the State Highway Fund to go toward other priorities. This became a partisan issue. Republicans ended up having enough votes to get it through, despite opposition from many Democrats. Beth Lewis is the executive director for Save Our Schools Arizona. She calls this budget sad, arguing it gives no new dollars to public schools. She says the ESA program has become a coupon for the rich, and reform is needed to better support low-income students. Republican Speaker of the House, Ben Toma, disagrees.
The ESA voucher program was shown in a nonpartisan report last week that it's driving half of the budget deficit. So, anything that's driving hundreds of millions of dollars of deficit should clearly be the first thing on the table to be, reined in. And yet Republicans absolutely stubbornly refused to touch that program in any way, shape, or form.
That's just not true. I mean, the truth of the matter is that those dollars are being spent by the taxpayers anyway. The only question is where. So at this point, the ESA program was my program. I'm the one who created it, right? So of course I'm going to defend it. But remember that we're shifting dollars from one bucket to another. That's not the same. Parents want this. This is not a partisan issue outside of this building and outside of the Capitol. If you talk to Democrats, you talk to Republicans, you talk to independents, everybody loves ESAs and school choice. So Arizona, it's here to stay, and we've protected it.
The budget was a bipartisan agreement that Governor Katie Hobbs negotiated with the House Speaker and Senate President. Governor Hobbs released a statement just a couple of minutes ago that she's pleased with the balanced budget, but she does agree that more work needs to be done to improve transparency and accountability within the ESA program. We know that other state leaders are disappointed by the passage of this budget. Michael and Emma, I understand you have a statement from Attorney General Chris Mays. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Michaela, live outside the Capitol. So yes, we are getting more reaction from others as well. Attorney General Chris Mays said she is incredibly disappointed in Governor Hobbs' GOP leadership in the state legislature for putting the 18-year opioid One Arizona agreement at risk by attempting to sweep opioid funds to backfill budget deficits, she says, caused by GOP policies.
We're also hearing from GOP state senators, the majority whip saying, quote, the ESA program helps provide Arizona families the freedom to pick the best schools to meet their children's unique learning needs.